it's on now. Yeah. Damn, that shit is insane.
Yes, sir. Friday nights. Y'all know what this is. Best Conversations podcast. I got a podcast legend in this thing, man.
No,
a podcast legend in this thing. Over 100 episodes in.
Yeah, 110.
My brother is definitely major out here. If this was like TV, I guess you would be like syndicated.
Man, I wish I was, dog. That'd be nice. You're right, though. I think I would be syndicated at this point if it was TV.
Yes, sir.
Like the status for it.
Right. And also had the second hottest song in the summer because my boy Winston said the hottest song of the summer was Old Town Road. But
all right, yeah, you can have that.
But the second hottest song of the summer was this classic. I'm talking like our first time I heard this joint, Sundress.
Thank you, man.
My God, amazing.
Yeah, thank
amazing.
You. Shout out to Leon Gamble. He put that together.
Yes, man. If y'all don't know who we talking about, we got AJ the Menace up in this thing, man. What's up with you, my brother?
Chilling, man. I'm good.
How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm enjoying it. This is dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause
you do podcasts.
Exactly.
Tell the people about before we can get any further, man. Tell the people about your podcast.
So
man.
I do the Three Oak podcast. It's with myself, AJ the Menace, Cherry TNT, and Shane M. Petty. It's produced by my boy Sean. And, it's a Three Oak podcast, Raleigh-based podcast. We do it out of my garage. It's been going for like 2 years now, 2 and some change maybe, and we did a live episode for the 100th. So
crazy.
We at 110 now. So we just going. Yeah.
And also you do music.
Yeah, we do music. I've only actually dropped one full body of work, and that was back in 2012.
Word.
13, one of those years. But yeah, procrastination at its finest. Like the people who've been following me for the longest, they definitely know. Like, but most other people, they just hear me on the stuff that when I just drop a record, or I'll just drop a verse or a music video or a single. Or
right.
That's really about it.
Right.
Nothing project, body of work, or even really singles consistently. I just pop up here so often.
Right. You like it like that?
I do like it like that. I like being able to enter in and out of music just because there's so many other things I like to do.
You also do you edit videos and direct videos.
Yeah,
that's how I met you.
Yep, yeah. Comedy sketches, curate just like straight content, mainly comedy sketches. But yeah, man, it's so many other things I like to do. But there's nothing that moves more, faster than that music. Like, You got a good song that crack. Like, you might not think this humor's funny. You might not like this podcast. But if the music is good or the song is good, that's going to go regardless.
Right. Before we get to the music, let's start with the podcast. Because doing podcasting and gaining a following and traction is extremely tough, But, man, y'all have definitely found a great niche. And, like, take me to the beginning, the ideas of how y'all start this podcast.
So, it was, I guess, 3 years ago now. I had my first office job.
Okay.
And that was when I started listening to podcasts. So that was when I just was listening to just media. I had time. I was in one of those jobs where you didn't have to talk to anybody.
Right.
You Skype the person that sat next to you. You didn't just lean over and ask them. So headphones in all day. I listen to mad podcasts.
What's some of the your favorites from the beginning in the beginning stages of podcasts?
I've been following the Loudspeaker Network. So I started with my I started watching Breakfast Club every single day.
Right.
Charlemagne, I became a fan of Charlemagne. He does the Brilliant Idiots podcast. I went there. Brilliant Idiots podcast turned into Tax Stone podcast.
Absolutely.
One of their guests. I listened to Tax Stone podcast. Then I realized loudspeakers, that's all they do is podcast.
Right.
So then I just downloaded their other popular podcasts.
Right.
Lip Service, The Read. So I just started exploring everything that Loudspeaker had to offer podcast wise. I ain't got nothing else to do for 8 hours. After you get tired of listening to music over and over again, you listen to the podcast. So I pretty much just followed the Loudspeaker. I dropped off of a couple of them. I still drop in, but I also found Joe Rogan in that time period.
Right.
But now my consistent ones are like Joe Rogan, The Brilliant Idiots, Flagrant 2, I pop in like bi-weekly. Bully and the Beast now every week. I don't miss that. But yeah, that's pretty much how it started. And why
Bully and the Beast is kind of dope.
It's ill. Yeah, it's ill. I love the chemistry that they have on there. Like, And then but yeah, I was thinking I listened and watched them so much. It can't be hard to do.
Can't be hard to do.
Yeah,
right.
it can't be. Like, you know what I'm saying? They literally got a mic, they got a phone. Oh, No Jumper, big influence when it came to starting a podcast.
Yeah,
No
not the, but yeah, shout to No Jumper, but No Jumper has took the reins of salute to the late great Combat Jack. Like
Combat Jack as well.
Yeah, he took Combat Jack lane, like, you know what I mean. But yeah, I was watching No Jumper last night. Like,
yeah, I don't pop in as frequently as I used to, but I was like in the beginning stages. It was No Jumper and Brilliant Idiots, and No Jumper I listened to a lot because he was providing so much content.
Right,
he was on
and giving like new artists. Like the first time I ever heard the triple
XXXTentacion, exactly.
was his interview, and I never heard of.
Same here, yeah.
Never heard of him before that.
People, Wi-Fi's Funeral, the Suicide Boys. Like, it's so many of those. I didn't even realize. I knew this SoundCloud thing was going on, but that was the first introduction that I had to find to it. Plus his layout. He's the one that really made me like, oh shit, I could definitely do this. Can we curse here?
Hell yeah, nigga, it's a podcast, nigga.
Just wanted to make sure.
You do the same shit.
You're right. But yeah, he's the one that helped me realize, I mean, bro, anybody can do this. Because he was saying, yeah, we got the iPhone on the tripod. And he was just behind his store, behind a stack of bikes or books.
Right.
Or, just merchandise and just sitting around a table. So I took that same format and just designed a little setting area in my garage, and it's slowly upgraded to what it is now. Like, now it definitely has my garage podcast area has like a distinct look. I feel like that people see it, they know exactly what it is. Like when we used to do a lot of local promotions in the area, I would get people coming up to me on Glenwood talking about, you the guy with the green lockers behind you. You know what I mean?
Word.
Yeah. So like the scenery has it's definitely got a staple. Like as much as I wanted to change it, I'll just slightly make it better. But that has a look that people they just know me from the guy that sits behind the lockers.
Yo.
Yeah.
And so how did this podcast begin to gain steam? Like, I found out the podcast through Winston.
Yeah.
And but what's the formula? I mean, because to do a live show, my nigga, nigga, like that shit is hard. like you ain't Joe Buttons, like
you're right, dog.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's a fucking congratulations. You know what I mean?
Because
that shit is not no shit to sneeze at. Like
I appreciate that. Bro, the podcast took forever to gain traction because I was also at a point when I started the podcast, I still like creative stuff. I wasn't even doing video editing and things, but I just stopped doing music. I don't know. I feel like I was at the point, I was like 27 or something like that, or like 26. And I was like, bro, I'm about to be 30. Mind you, I still got 4 to 5 years, but I'm about to be 30. I'm not about to pop off as no rapper at 30. That's what I was thinking. Cause I'm
smart man.
Especially because I was looking at the SoundCloud generation. Like, these niggas is 19. You know what I'm saying? They 17, 16 with hit records, platinum records. I'm like, bro, it's getting even younger. You know what I mean? So I thought there was no lane for me in that anymore. So I was like, but I still want to do something creative. So the podcast, I got with my boy Shane. Shout out to Shane. He was brothers to my producer that used to do all my beats and recording, and he still does our mixing and mastering and stuff out in LA. But I got with him because I knew he'd be consistent and he has a good take on things. He's also a screenwriter and a director, so I've got the hip hop side, he's got the movie side, and then we just needed a female to do the more of the gossipy things, relationships, stuff that we don't really care about,
absolutely.
Stuff, but it's something that people are going to tune in to listen to. Me and him got together and we did like 42 episodes.
Wow.
And we did a year straight. I told him like, we just have to meet every week, bro. Ain't nobody going to listen to this for a while because I don't even know how to cultivate a fan base around this. We're just going to keep doing it for a year. And then 1 year we'll see what happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, it didn't happen until episode 42.
Really?
Yeah. So almost, bruh, the most plays I ever got was like 20 plays.
Wow.
Up to episode 42. It's like,
how did you gain the mentality to stay that consistent? Just knowing you doing like, not even 20 plays. Like I remember me back in the day, I tried when podcast first came out, then you look at them numbers, you like, nigga, ain't nobody listening to this shit.
Nobody, bro.
Why am I wasting my time with this shit? But you stuck with that shit.
I had to, yeah. Because I knew I was 1 year into listening to podcasts myself and like the way I felt about my podcast that I listened to every week for 1 year was deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, no, I fuck with these people that are on this podcast. Like I've literally been listening to you every week for a year, and I just know some things just take. People are slow, bro. The market is not gonna fuck with you unless you already got clout,
right?
Immediately, you know what I'm saying?
Clout.
Yeah, like they know they're not gonna fuck with you unless you already been established. I've been established in music. I'm starting something new, so I already knew. Like, if I dropped a video, I know I can get at least 500 plays. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I'm about to give them something completely new. I don't expect them to give me 10 plays.
Right.
So 20 wasn't discouraging to me because I wasn't expecting more than 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I knew if I did it for 1 year and got better, even though nobody was listening, at some point they were gonna fuck with it.
Right.
And it took till episode 40. It went from 20 plays to 150 that week. And we were like, oh shit, like people like they get okay. Right. I think we're here.
Yeah.
We stayed at 150. A couple of weeks later, now we at 250. A couple of weeks later, now we at 350. It got all the way up to the point where we were hitting 550 to 600 plays every single week consistently. Like there was no question.
Do you think your fan base was strictly this area, or when did you realize like, oh, people are listening like not just from Raleigh, like, you know?
I noticed, and I think our fan base was only in Raleigh.
Really?
Yeah, or our listener base. You know what I mean? It was only in Raleigh for the people that. It was them 20 people, bro. Those are the people. They're gonna fuck with me forever.
Fuck
you know
with
what I'm saying?
Forever.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
That's low key my aunt, my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's those people. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna rock with me whatever I do. The general public, I feel like, didn't care until we hit 42 because at that point they were like, "Damn, this nigga not stopping."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll never forget the messages I got at 42. Yo, bro, I'm proud of you, bro. Congratulations, you at 42. I know you didn't listen to one. Leading up to 42,
right?
But that number 42, for some reason, they were like, I guess they realized I wasn't joking about it, so they bought into it,
right?
You know what I mean? So once they bought into it,
yeah,
at 42,
because some people look at you crazy. You like,
yeah,
like what the fuck is this? Like, you know, because sometimes I don't even post my shit on Facebook because I know it's like that's what aunties and uncles are.
You gotta start going on Facebook. I've started going back to Facebook recently.
So they like, so your aunties, your uncles, and like your wife's family looking at you like, what the fuck is this? Like, who? Like, what are you doing, Kayvon? Like, what?
Facts,
like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So I kind of like let me just leave it on like IG and whatever, but. I guess I gotta go to Facebook. Fuck what they think. Like
I just got back on Facebook,
really?
and the only reason I got back on Facebook is just because I know how powerful Facebook is. Because we brought in Cherry TNT, and that's where her whole, that's where all her friends are actually at. Mind you, she's in our age range. Even though it feels like a lot of parents and there are a lot of older people, but that is kind of the benefit of Facebook.
Right.
It literally is gonna cover from 14 to 65, 75.
Right.
That's the benefit. You know what I mean? Like when we stay on Instagram and Twitter, we are staying to a younger age bracket because one, it changes a lot faster. Older people ain't fucking with no fast changes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They know Facebook, it really ain't changing. They just adding a little new features here and there. So it's like, and they might be the ones that show up to the show. Then I watched the interview by Country Wayne on the Breakfast Club.
He blew up off Facebook.
Off Facebook.
Off Facebook because
up on Facebook.
Like he did it right off Facebook.
Yeah. I thought I heard something.
Me too.
Yeah, and he got a deeper the people, if you can get people to fuck with you off of Facebook, they have a deeper connection just like YouTube. Twitter and Instagram fans are real fickle. You know what I'm saying? Like like those are the people that like when you do something bad in the media or if you do something that they don't like, they're just not going to show it any love at all. The people that are on Facebook, they're building with you, they growing with you, they fuck with you for real, for real. You know what I mean? Like you being friends with them compared to you just following them.
Right.
I feel like even that word, like I'm friend requesting you, I fuck with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have a deeper connection just like I'm subscribing to you every week. You know what I mean? So those people, Country Wayne said, if you get popping on Facebook, you'll never go broke.
Word.
That's what he said. He said that Twitter, Instagram shit, yeah, you might go broke. You get popping on Facebook or YouTube, you ain't never going broke, ever. I was like, I get it.
And not to stay on Country Wayne too long, but he just did like the normal common shit that, most people really do in their real lives. And it was like, it was so perfect for Facebook. And
yeah, exactly.
Nigga pop.
It was relatable as hell.
Super relatable.
And think about all those, he talking about the type of people that show up to the show, 65-year-olds are showing up to his show.
Right.
Because you talking about fixing a car and being country.
Yeah.
And I'm 65, 75. I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking
just
about.
Just like I'm 19 and I know what you're talking about.
Right.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. We just started spreading the podcast all over the place, and we just kept going and we just kept building at that point.
How gratifying was it to see the turnout for the 100 show?
I'm still, bro. The turnout at the 100 show, bro. I'm not over that still yet.
Word.
Because I didn't think anybody was gonna come. I was afraid that was gonna be the flop show for real. For real. I've taken L's on.
Yeah,
shows.
that shit was braver than a motherfucker.
Shit
dog.
was booming, bro. And I went hard on the promo too.
Yeah,
I went crazy.
I seen the commercial.
Yeah,
I seen the commercials. Multiple commercials. Yeah,
the Bohemian Rhapsody commercial.
Yeah. You do a great job with your promotion.
I appreciate that.
Shout out to Alias as well.
Yeah,
helping out with that. But
yeah,
my guy, you do an amazing job with your promotion and your social media. Y'all run it so perfect. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people just put bullshit up, but like it's almost like if you put some shit up, it means some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not putting shit up for fun.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm putting shit up because it's a new idea. I think it's dope. I think you'll think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I need your feedback to know whether I'm going in the right direction.
Right.
And like that's the most important thing. But I'm glad that we reached past that 1 year stage and that 100th episode stage, because now I feel like people are more open to giving feedback because they have invested into us.
Right.
So I feel like that's one of the hardest artists, and that's why there's so many trash rappers talking about listen to this song for me. Because niggas ain't giving you your feedback, bro.
Nah.
Like they'll send us a link, we'll listen to it, it'd be trash, and I'm just not gonna message you back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you at a point where they're actually invested,
right?
Yeah, like people be bro,
it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, when you need the feedback to get better if you like it. You know what I'm saying? Like. So yeah, I'm just glad we're at a point now where we actually get feedback on everything that we put out.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up the podcast talk, like, will it be another live show?
Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling like we're gonna do live shows because that one just went so
with
well.
milestones, maybe.
Yeah. Like, but I'm thinking like I don't want to oversaturate it either. But I feel like maybe every 25 episodes to 50 episodes, maybe or 40 episodes. You know, like. Just because you don't want to oversaturate it because that was the first time. I might have packed the rim out just because it was the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna keep that in mind too. They might not have all been there just to see, just because they like the podcast. They might have just been there just because they'd be like, oh shit, he's doing one. Let's check it out one time. You know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna keep that in the back of my head. Whether those people, like all 100 of them, fucked with it or they didn't, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna move like they didn't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Just so that I can make sure the next one is jumping too.
Right.
Yeah.
So also, you do music, good music, because I ain't gonna lie, I don't fuck with everybody.
I appreciate you, man.
I don't fuck with everybody, but before we get into that, man, you just sound like a big deal. I don't know what it is, but it looks important as a motherfucker. It looks very important.
Yeah.
Explain to the people what you just did.
We just signed on with Cypher Publishing or Cypher Projects. It's a publishing company ran by Sean O'Leary and Ryan O'Leary, aka Wonder. He's also an artist, but his brother Sean O'Leary is I think he's doing a lot of the groundwork out in LA while we're doing a lot of the artist work and also cultivating, making new connections and things of that nature for everybody's dream to come alive. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
But the publishing side is the deal. It's important, and it was a big deal for us because that was us taking control of our music and making sure that we're not going to be one of those artists 10 or 5 years, even 1 year down the line talking about my deal's fucking me over. I'm not getting paid for that record. You know what I'm saying? Like we're locking down that publishing side where I own these masters, I own these rights. I wrote that song. I'm always going to get royalties off of that because that's mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not some other major company talking about, well, you only got 10% of this record, even though it was, it sold 100 million copies. You know,
right?
Like, eliminating that problem before we sell 100 million records. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what that was.
And that's with your partner. What's your partner? Because he's dope too.
Leon Gamble.
Yeah.
Leon Gamble. Yeah.
He's really dope. Like I was listening to some of his music.
And he's got the projects out on all the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Grand reopening.
Yeah. I thought y'all was like a group.
Nah, we're just brothers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's not even like we're not even a hip hop duo, but that's my nigga. And if he eating some shit, he like jump on this and he snap on this with me, and vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really dope. Like y'all do great music. So with this publishing deal, will it just be strictly music, or will it be other things, other avenues with it? Or?
Yeah, so it's mainly right now. This is just on the music side. So Right now, since I've never dropped a project on any major streaming platforms, I've been on features on songs such on Leon Gamble song, like Sundress and Baby Mama and other
Mm-hmm.
things. But I still don't even have my own project or anything that you can grab off of me outside of SoundCloud. So I'm cultivating some music right now that I can put out and get full rights on my stuff, get royalties, get them in place on the right playlist and in the right rooms and the right people to listen to them, things of that nature, and just
Mm-hmm.
get spins because closer we can, just finding more help that somebody can help us not only secure our music rights, but they can also help us find the fan base that they know that we could have out there too.
Right. And it definitely seems like it's because of social media and bigger platforms and all this other stuff now. It is a lane now for us 30-year-old niggas. Like
Yeah, exactly.
dope
Yeah,
30 niggas. Like you
yeah,
gotta be
yeah,
dope. First off, you gotta be dope.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
you
bro. Yeah.
not whack 30 niggas, but
Long
dope.
story short, if nobody's ever giving you any feedback on your music, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't
Right.
it. Like somebody should be giving you feedback at this point.
Right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Like,
please, man. And before we go real deep into your music, man, tell my audience like where you from and
so I was born in Maryland,
okay.
Silver Spring, Maryland. I was there for like 8 years, and then I lived right outside of Philly for about 8 years. Shout out to King of Pressures. He just I can't remember his name, but he just
That's Mike.
Mike. Yeah, Mike. He just came back from King of Pressure, my hometown. So I went to Upper Marion over there, and then I've been here for the last like 12 or 13 years. So
Right. What you think? What you think of the Carolinas when you got here?
I hated
Honestly,
it. Oh, I hated it because I was in high school too. So you used to coming from an area where you can just walk or ride your bike to your friend's house. You can't really do that here. Like,
Right.
especially depending on where you live, bro. Like, and the heat on top of that. Like,
right.
you can't. I don't feel like it's a lot harder to have a high school social life. You know what I mean? Just on your own without a car. You need a certain amount of money. You ain't no buses jumping. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I just can't link up with my boys on the weekend as easy as I can
Right.
up north where everything's a lot closer together. But those are just like the struggles, and then the culture as well. When I first got here, sports are obviously a big. Excuse me. Sports are obviously a big thing here.
Right.
The coolest person up north isn't the best sports player. It might be the biggest gangster or the
Right,
nigga that
right.
sell the most dope or just the flyest nigga in school. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We respect that before we respect the nigga putting up 50 points. Even though he has his own lane, that's like the only. I felt like that was the only lane when I first got here. Even if you were trash, but if you wore the school football jersey, you was
Right.
getting bitches. You know what I'm saying? And it
Facts.
was like, bro, you didn't do nothing for that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't work for that. You know what I mean? Like, just so it was a little bit of that. Like, bro, I can't. There's got to be more
Oh,
to this
shit.
life than these type of people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But once you get out of high school, in college, obviously the world.
Where'd you go to college?
I just went to Wake Tech. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, I never did a 4 year. Sometimes I wish I did, but I mean that Wake Tech life it was crazy around then.
Right,
I was in
right.
there like 2008 or whatever, 9, 10, 11, out of control. Taking my sweet time, taking 1 to 2 classes. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like enjoying like growing up as like a straight up adult, never really doing the dorm thing. But yeah, Wake Tech was dope to me.
Word. So, what was like one of your very first influences in music? Like, what video or song did you hear growing up and was like, yo, I can do that shit right there?
That didn't happen until 2008 or 9.
Damn, that late?
Yeah, bro. I didn't start rapping until mad late, bro.
But like, so music. So you didn't give a
I
fuck
just
about
listened to
music.
it.
You just listened. You didn't
Yeah,
care.
I got into it a lot more in those last 2 years of high school when I didn't like the people that I was in school with, and then I found the cool kids, and I was like, oh yeah, these are the type of niggas I fuck with. You know
So
what I'm saying?
what's so I'm guessing. Let me guess. 2008, 2009. Lil Wayne.
I liked Lil Wayne, but I wasn't one of them Lil Wayne stans.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Lil Wayne, but I was not a Louisiana, like, I was not crazy.
Right.
But Lil Wayne was hot, though.
Right.
No question. You know what I'm saying? But I just like something different. I can't relate to all that shit. I still can't relate to this shit he be talking about. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, but the cool kids, I get that.
Right.
Going to the thrift store, find a fire.
Oh, so
throwback
the
jersey.
actual group Cool Kids.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about like the cool kids at school, but the group Cool Kids.
The group Cool Kids.
I remember
Yeah.
them. I remember them. Yeah.
They were the first group that had me like, oh, finally, like, there's somebody different, bro. Like
Right.
I knew this was here. I just did. I finally found it. You know what I mean?
Are they still making music?
They are. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Chuck English, still a fire producer to this day, and still dropping tracks. Mikey Rocks, they still going, or Sir Michael Rocks now. But yeah, like they're still working.
Word. It was
Yeah.
like I remember it was like New Kids,
New Kids,
damn.
Damn.
What
Mind you, this is the blog era of rap, bro.
The
That's
blog-
what took
yeah.
me. The blog era.
then
of
what?
hip-hop.
Then what's the guy that always put the shit on the NBA players?
NBA player?
He like puts the damn Lil B, yeah,
Lil B. I wasn't a Lil B fan, but he was a forerunner in that movement too.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
all that shit was like early weird shit. Like what
all
the fuck
weird
is that?
Niggas starting to wear mohawks, skinny
Right.
jeans, V-neck white tees,
Right.
Vans. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
when. And then that was when blogs were out, so I can find the cool kids, but I can also find other people, Theopolis, London, and that era of rap. So then I was like, so that was me leaving high school, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to buy all new clothes. Fuck these airbrush t-shirts I've been wearing. Fuck these sweatpants. Fuck these. You know what I'm saying? I'm on it, nigga. I need some Supremes.
Right.
I need skinny jeans. I need 5950 hats. I need a mohawk cut. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that's when I started changing myself and just listening to like a lot more different music, changing my style, everything aesthetic. Wiz Khalifa, I need me a Louis pouch with doobies rolled up into it. I was Taylor Gang for real,
Yeah.
for real. You know what I'm saying?
That Wiz era too is right in there.
It was a couple years where
Yeah.
I really thought I was Wiz. You know what I'm saying? I'm only drinking Bombay. You only see me with Loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was fully invested as a fan. But I feel like I listened to a lot of dope music enough. Oh, Dom Kennedy, of course. Everybody knows that about me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I like
everybody-
Dom.
That's my nigga for real, for real. But also, this will be big one day. I hope so. Dom Kennedy and Rick Ross. I need that feature. I need.
that'd be amazing.
I need that.
That'd be
AJ
amazing.
and Menace,
I
Dom
thought
Kennedy and Rick
I thought Rick Ross was trying to sign him and Nipsey at one
They
time.
were, yeah. That was when they was like running the East Coast. Like Dom was running on that player shit, and Nipsey was running on that gangster shit. Like they had both. They had the underground. They had the streets on 100% lock. Just back to back attack fire. You know what I'm saying?
So how did you figure out your style of music? And what
So
was the first time you actually recorded yourself?
So I listened to MF Doom. I met this dude. Shout out to
I don't know what that is, but I hear the name, but I have
Yeah.
no idea what MF Doom is.
They gonna kill you in these comments.
I have no clue. I have no clue. I used to listen. We was talking about podcasts earlier. I used to listen to Juan Ep.
Shout out to Juan Ep. Fire podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out to Juan
I
Ep.
used to listen to Juan Ep, and they used to always name drop MF Doom, but I never knew what it was. To this day, I have no clue what MF Doom
MF
is.
Doom's a New York dude that wears literally.
So that's
Doom
one
hat.
person?
Yeah.
It's not a group? Oh
person.
shit!
One whole person that wears a mask.
Sound like a wrestler.
I mean, he wears a Doom mask, bro. He's
For
on
real.
stage, like you don't even know what he looks like. There's obviously pictures, but like, I mean,
Damn, I thought that was
there's
a
not a lot of
group.
pictures. Yeah.
No. Oh damn.
So he's a producer and a rapper. My boy Frank Castle or FKBS, he put me on the Special Herbs and Spices, which is like a nine CD instrumental project. And when I would listen to MF Doom, he was the first artist that made me really realize it doesn't matter what the fuck you are saying on the track. If you make it sound good, it's gonna be hot. Because I didn't know what he was talking about half the time, bro. Like I really, to this day, he still got bars. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but that shit sound good as hell.
Right.
So that's when I realized, oh, I can do this. That's a fact. I can do this. He might be saying nonsense. I don't know,
Right.
but it sounds good.
Yeah.
So I started rapping over MF Doom beats. So like I got with my boy Leon. We met at Wake Tech at this point. Our other boy Swain. We went to their house one time. They were already the rappers and the artists, singer, writer, and things of that nature. They were like, bro, you can't leave here until you finish your verse. I'm like, damn. Like, so that was my first verse I wrote on a track called Arrowroot. Put it on Facebook. Because that was when niggas was uploading shit to Facebook.
Right.
And that shit was popping on Wake Tech campus. Like,
Word.
they fucked with us heavy off of that. So I did another track. And off another MF Doom beat called Calamus Root. And then I just kind of played with music here and there. Then Leon started taking it more seriously. He dropped this joint called The Reservation. So I did like 2 records on there, like 2 verses on there. And I'm just like, he started getting momentum, just performing at Shakedown Street and things of that nature. And then the Reservation comes out. He goes on like a 1 month, like a 1 year run on Reservation, doing shows all over the city. And then he's like, all right, I'm gonna chill for a little while. So I was like, I don't want to lose this momentum that you've created. I'll drop a project. Procrastination at its finest. That takes a life of its own for the next year or two. Then in that time, that's when Menace Material was created, because I've been doing all these shows with my man Leon for the last year. I'm dropping a project now, and I hit the same person that was booking him. You know me, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've been here. I've literally shared a stage with him for at least one song every single time he's booked here. Y'all ain't giving me no shows.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just call the venue and be like, how much is it for a night? And I just named it Menace Material, so that, you know what I'm saying, just so that like that was Menace Material presents Procrastination That's Fine as mixtape release party. You know what I'm saying? Just because them niggas wouldn't give me a show. It would have never came if nobody would if they would have gave me a show.
Rap politics, man.
Yeah, so it's just like I wasn't the guy. Leon was the guy. You know what I'm saying? And that was fine, because now it's built into what Menace Material is today. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yeah.
And is that y'all? I know got the merch, but is that like y'all label? Is that like?
Yeah, it's pretty much like a production company. So, you know, we do the music label, we do the podcasting. Eventually, everything's under one roof right now, but eventually I want its own like LLC for Menace Material Podcasting, and then do a loudspeaker thing.
Right.
I have multiple podcasts just up underneath that Menace Material Podcasting.
You got that? You got that space in your garage? You can.
Yeah, exactly.
You can use it.
Yeah, the only thing is, it's different from this. So like this room is dope, and but the difference between my garage and this room, the Three Oak Podcast setting has been cultivated for the Three Oak Podcast.
Right.
I can put other people at the table, but then they'll be like, what's this podcast in the Three Oak Podcast space? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need other spaces and locations, because every podcast has their space and location,
right?
Especially visual ones.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So this is more of a scenery where we can put more than one different type of podcast in here,
right?
Because it clearly looks like
people are used to you with them lockers.
Exactly.
Where the hell did you get the lockers from anyway?
Bro, they were in the house when I bought them. They were already in the garage.
Yo.
Yeah, so I bought the house like 4 years ago, and it was just in the garage already.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so I came up on that.
So man, like real talk, like you really had a banger this summer. Like no cap, no nothing. Like for real. Like you had like a banger.
Yeah.
And so it's not really. So you're just a feature on the song.
That's it, bro. That's not mine. That's Leon
really?
Gamble's song. Nah, that's not mine.
Yo,
I'm just a feature.
First time I heard that shit, no bullshit, I played that shit like 8 or 9 times, like
Damn,
in a row.
In
a row. Like I was like, oh, this shit is fucking hot, man. Shout out to the producer that produced that shit.
Damn, I don't know, bro. I really don't. Yeah, that's like Leon knows that information. But
okay.
Yeah, he found a beat. We were just in the garage one night. He found a beat. He thought of that shit, and then while he thought of the hook like on the spot. So while he was doing that, the hook came really quick to him. So he laid the hook down, and then while he was doing that, I started my verse and he started his verse, and we both finished our verses pretty much that night. So it was wrote within probably like 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I did like 3/4 of my verse, and then I finished the last 4 bars later, like the next day or something like that. But a lot of that record was pretty much done in like 2 days. We laid it down and then sent it out.
That shit is hard. Like even a response like from your IG, like, yo, especially you win when you get songs that chicks fuck with.
Oh, heavy.
Like
yeah.
Super heavy. Like I just seen people just reposting it. Like, you know what I mean? Even now, like people still be posting that shit. Like that shit was a certified banger, dog.
And we dropped it this year, but it ain't done. Like,
nah, that shit can turn into a cookout song, truthfully.
Yeah, facts. And to keep it real, the first time I heard Short Thing by Miguel was in 2008.
Word.
Yeah, and that shit didn't pop off till like 4 years later.
Yeah.
And that was his fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The song will be back, trust me, because there's no video for it. So
I've been waiting for that shit too.
It'll come out next year.
Word.
It's not done.
Next summer.
And we're gonna be on time with it this time. Like, well, you're gonna have to live with this for the rest of the summer. You know what I'm saying? And then next year after that, we might, if it don't work that year, we might drop it. We might spin it and drop it another way. And again, I feel like that's also the one. But in that time, we might have a couple more that are like that. And then every season, we doubling back on certain records and still dropping new shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that shit is definitely the one. Like, you don't just like, hey, just throw that shit aside somewhere. Like you.
Yeah. You keep pressing that one.
That sounds fucking amazing, man. So, the music thing, the podcast thing, like, you got your closing line, everything popping, like, how far you want to take this thing, man? Like,
bro, it's I'm trying to take this to the point to where it's like Menace material. I wanted to be looked at. First of all, I wanted to be have its own lane in hip hop to begin with. Like it should be up there with the bad boys. Like when you think, you know what I'm saying, staple record labels, it should be Bad Boy, it should be No Limit, Menace material. I wanted to have that reputation. Def Jam, you know what I mean, Atlantic, you know what the fuck we do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like period. This is gonna live forever in time. And it's so many lanes that I feel like we can do.
Is
You know
it
what I mean?
how many other artists is it under the brand?
It's myself, Leon Gamble, Cherry TNT, and Big Champagne, the comedian.
The comedian. He's
Yeah.
dumb funny.
Yeah,
he's,
yeah, yeah.
he's dumb
Big Champagne,
funny.
yeah, Big Champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the first comedian, and that's just like it's really just we just homies, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've tried to branch out. It's hard building a brand, and then people see your vision, but then those people you be like, I'm ready to do this and that for you. You bring them in, it doesn't work out, and people are filtering in and out. Like this time around, we only let our closest friends in that understand what the work ethic is that requires. You need to understand we still ain't shit. We are still on ground floor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We in ground zero still. Like I just left my garage. That shit's hot because the AC is trash in there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm still on ground zero. I didn't do 1 million streams last year.
Right.
Like we may have more influence to where you think we're doing more. We still regular niggas, and we need to make sure we remember that. And just remember, bro, it's gonna get better from here.
Right.
We have a great foundation, but don't get too cocky and think we up here because we ain't clearing them checks up there.
Right.
Their checks are still here. You know what I'm saying? So those are the people that are with us, or the people that understand that we're still in building process. You know?
Right. I mean, it's a beautiful thing though, and just staying consistent with it, because you know,
That's everything.
that's with everything.
It's
right.
everything. It doesn't matter how whack you are, bro. It's the consistency that gets people every time. It's it's trash artists that are millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they're so consistent. One, they got better because they were so consistent at it. Even if you still don't like them, I guarantee you didn't like they shit they was doing a year ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you might still think they trash, but it's better than what they did a year ago. So they're getting better. But you can call them and depend on them because they're so
Right.
consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like
Question: if the podcast shit pop, I'm like pop,
Yeah.
would you still rap? Or if the rap shit pop, would you still podcast?
they getting everything at all times.
So
At all times.
so
They
we still
catching
do both.
They getting everything. They gonna get the comedy.
We're in the
Yeah,
comedy.
they getting everything.
So you do stand up too?
I don't do stand up, but Champagne is the head. He's the leader of the comedy.
Okay.
For us, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll do comedy sketches and shit like that,
Right.
and I think of funny stuff, but I'm by no means a stand up comedian. You won't ever see me on stage doing that. But Champagne is our funny guy, creating ideas, but he's also the comedian because I've listened to a lot of comedians on podcasts, and they don't like calling each other comedians unless you're on stage doing stand up.
Right.
So that's why he's our comedian. You know what I'm saying? Because he get on stage, shut it down, and get in front of the camera and shut it down. So, but yeah,
Word.
comedy is important, bro. Like I want the brand to be on some Def Jam shit. That's Russell Simmons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
fuck, yeah. And I love the nigga so much, and I almost fucked it up. But think about what he did, bro. Like he foundation was music,
Right.
Run DMC.
Yeah.
But let's not act like Def Comedy Jam. Def Comedy Jam wasn't its own monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There's no reason that I feel like Menace material can't have its own monster on that lane.
Right.
We gonna kill music. Me and Leon will hold that down, and Cherry TNT will hold down music, and then Champagne will be he'll take the Menace material comedy jam off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where we can get to the point where we going on tour and he's hosting every single night like Martin Lawrence. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Like there's no reason why you can't have both of those lanes.
Right.
And then on top of that, you back here producing movies on the side too. You know what I mean? Or help directing a movie or shoot a music video. You know what I
Right.
mean? We all in the same lane, so why not fuck with all
Why
of them?
not fuck with it?
Yeah.
So are we gonna get a full length project? When we gonna get a full length project from you? Because you dope, man. Like you,
I appreciate you.
like you just ain't like swag rapping or no shit like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you,
yeah. It's
like
a
you-
lot of swag though, but it's like
I mean, it's a lot of swag. It's a lot of juice in there.
I keep it swag just so I don't have to be like technical and shit. But
Living in line.
yeah, like I slide in hot bars, but I try to like rest on just make it sound good so that I can say whatever I want. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I'm not gonna be medical, physical, digital.
Right,
I'm not gonna
right.
be that for what? Like
Right.
these niggas gonna feel good. I'm gonna make that shit
Yeah.
sound cool, but probably a full length. I don't even, I'm not sure, yo, because the game nowadays
Single
is
based.
singles, and when you starting to own all your stuff, the cost of actually putting out a full length project or EP is expensive, and that's just the recording and owning the music part,
Right.
buying the exclusive right off the producer and things of that nature. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just buying all the beats, you haven't even mixed and mastered, could be a rack, or
Right.
maybe 15. You know what I'm saying? Then getting the mixed and master, that's another 5 to a rack. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's expensive. I think we have a like an ecosystem or a thing set up now where I can put one out at a low cost and
Mm-hmm.
still own it all. But it kind of all depends on what happens first. I'm working on right now an EP,
Mm-hmm.
5 to 7 tracks.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that, and I'm probably like I'm gonna keep writing stuff, but technically like with what I have, I'm ready.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? It just needs to all of it needs to be recorded. It just hasn't all been recorded, and but yeah, I mean I'm ready to like we can push the button on some shit, you know, but
Right.
yeah, it just kind of depends on where we kind of go because I have more ideas for sketches,
Right.
and that I definitely want to do because if you can make people laugh, they might not like your music, but if you can make them laugh, bro, they love you forever. So I think we got really good sketches coming up in this fourth quarter that might push us to a point where it's like they do need that whole EP, or maybe just give them a taste of something real quick.
Right. And you got some shit on YouTube too.
Yeah, we do. Everything goes on YouTube.
I'm talking about you. Don't you got like a video on YouTube? Like
I got a couple of it.
yeah, just like you're like a single, a song or something.
Which one? Oh yeah, like maybe like trumpet intro or own shit.
Own shit. That's
Own
the
shit.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
own shit. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Head Graphics. He did this video for that.
Yeah.
I
Shit
like
hard.
co-directed that shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
people love that one. So yeah, I put that out during. I was trying to do some new shit, thinking I had the budget for it, and I was trying to come out with a EP, a visual EP called Studio Talk. It was
Mm-hmm.
gonna be 5 songs, and you weren't gonna hear the. I wasn't gonna give you the full project. You had to get it in video form,
Mm-hmm.
but I only made it 3 videos deep.
Okay.
Yeah, I never finished the project, but yeah, those singles are hard though. People
Yeah.
fuck with those singles a lot.
Definitely, man. All right, man. We wrapping this thing up, man. Best Conversations Podcast, episode 10. Man, I'm trying to
Let's
to
go.
get to 100, man.
Oh, you're gonna get there. You got 90 more to go. That ain't nothing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to 100, man. If they want to find you, my brother, man, tell the people where they can find you at, my.
The Menace #4 real. So the Menace for real. That's literally my handle. Or just Google Menace material. I mean, you can't miss it. Like if you Google AJ the Menace or get Menace material, you're gonna find everything you need.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any shout outs before we get up out of here?
Shout out to everybody that's been fucking with everything that we've been doing, yo. Like there's no point to keep going if anybody's listening. So we got shout out to every single person that's bought a T-shirt, every single person that streamed the Leon Gamble.
Where can they get the merch? Just go to the website?
Yeah, you can just holler at DM me or anybody on the men's material team. We'll get you
Word.
right.
I need a 2X, my brother.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
All
I
right.
got you. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's bought in and everybody a part of the team that's helped make this come to where it's at right now. And in a year, I mean, I don't know where we're gonna be in a year, but I know it won't be here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm ready to just keep going and keep feeding people good product.
Yes, sir. Shout out to my dog Alias in the back.
Yeah,
One of the hottest
videographers in the game.
in the game.
Behind the camera on a lot of that men's material shit.
Yes, sir. Detroit in this bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Best Conversations podcast, man. We up out of here, man. Episode 10, AJ the Menace. Thank everybody for listening. Peace and love.
Thank you for having me too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank
absolutely.
You, for real.
Thank you.
Sweating, boy. This shit is hot. Yeah, that was hard. Champagne called me too.